Saturday started like any other. The kitchen window was half open, letting in a cool breeze that carried the faint smell of rain from somewhere far away. I stood by the counter pouring tea while the toaster clicked in the background. My wife, Nadia, was sitting at the table scrolling through her phone, tapping the screen with quick little movements. The clock above the fridge read 8:12 a.m. "Don't forget," she said without looking up, "tonight is my birthday dinner." "I know," I replied. Toast popped. The small sound filled the quiet kitchen. She smiled faintly, still staring at her phone. "It's just a small gathering. A few friends, some coworkers." I nodded and sat across from her. For a few seconds we ate in silence. Then she added casually, almost like an afterthought, "My boss might come too." The tea paused halfway to my lips. "Your boss?" I asked. "Yeah, Daniel." I watched her carefully now. She still wasn't looking at me. "You never invite him to personal things." She shrugged. "He insisted, said he didn't want to miss it." The clock ticked once. I set the cup down. "Nadia?" Now she finally looked up. "If you invite your male boss to your birthday," I said calmly, "I'm out." She blinked once. Then she laughed softly like I'd made a harmless joke. "You're overreacting." "I'm serious," she rolled her eyes. "He's just my boss. Then celebrate with him at work." Another pause. She looked at me for a long moment, then went back to her phone. "Relax," she said. "It's my birthday." The conversation ended there. By 30:40 p.m., the sky outside had turned a dull gray. The restaurant was small and warm, full of yellow lights and quiet chatter. A string of birthday decorations hung above our table. Friends arrived first, then coworkers' glasses clinked. Waters started flowing easily. I kept checking the clock on the wall. 12 p.m. Nadia leaned toward her friend, whispering something that made them both giggle. 28 p.m. Her phone vibrated on the table. She looked down instantly. A small smile appeared. "Daniel just arrived," she said. Something inside my chest tightened, but I stayed quiet. Moments later, the door opened. A tall man in a dark suit stepped in, scanning the room until his eyes found Nadia. Her face lit up. She stood up quickly and waved. "Daniel." He walked over with a confident smile, holding a small gift bag. "Happy birthday," he said warmly. Then something happened that shifted the air in the room. Nadia stood up straight and tapped her glass. "Everyone," she said. The table quieted. "I want to introduce someone special tonight." She gestured toward him. "This is Daniel, my boss." A few polite claps. Then she added, smiling proudly, "And tonight's my most special guest." The words hung in the air. Daniel looked slightly uncomfortable, but Nadia looked pleased with herself. I watched the table. A few friends glanced at me. No one said anything. I stood up slowly. "Nadia," I said calmly. "Yes! I told you what would happen." She waved her hand dismissively. "Oh, please, don't make a scene." "I'm not." I picked up my coat. "I'm leaving." The room was silent now. She sighed dramatically. "You're unbelievable." Maybe, but I walked out anyway. By 6:02 p.m. I was home. The apartment felt strangely quiet. I placed my phone on the table and sat down on the couch. The sky outside was turning darker. Minutes passed. 6:17 p.m. A message from Nadia appeared. "You embarrassed me." I didn't reply. 6:29 p.m. Another message. "You're acting like a child." Still nothing. Then my phone battery dropped to 18%. The room was silent except for the ticking wall clock. 6:47 p.m. Headlights flashed through the window. A car door slammed, voices outside. Then the front door burst open. Nadia stumbled inside, her face pale. Right behind her came Daniel. Except now he looked nothing like the calm man from the restaurant. His tie was loose, his face red, and he was shouting. "What did you do?" he yelled. I stayed seated. "What are you talking about?" He ran his hand through his hair, pacing the living room. "The company's lawyer just called me." Nadia looked between us confused. "Daniel, what's happening?" He turned to me again, furious. "What did you make him do? Him?" Daniel slammed his phone onto the table. "The CO?" Nadia froze. I leaned back calmly. "Interesting," I said. Daniel pointed at me. "I didn't tell him anything." "Then why did he call me?" I picked up my phone slowly. My battery now read 9%. "I didn't call him," I said. "But someone did." Daniel's anger faded slightly. "What are you talking about?" I turned the phone screen toward him. A message was sitting there. Sent earlier that afternoon, not by me, by Nadia. Her face drained of color the moment she saw it. I didn't mean to." Daniel grabbed the phone and read. Her voice trembled. "I was just joking." He read the message again, slowly. Her text to the CEO earlier that day said, "Tonight I'm finally celebrating without my boring husband. My boss Daniel deserves the spotlight more than him." The room went completely still. "You sent this?" he said quietly. Nadia's lips trembled. "I thought it was private." Daniel laughed once, a dry, hollow sound. You sent it to the CEO. She looked like she might collapse. I didn't check the contact. Daniel looked at me again. Now his anger had turned into something colder. You knew, he said. I nodded slightly. I saw it on her screen this morning. Nadia stared at me. You saw! Yes! And you didn't say anything. No. Daniel ran his hands over his face. The CEO thinks I encouraged this, he muttered. They're opening an investigation. Nadia whispered, Daniel, I'm so sorry. He stepped away from her like she'd burned him. Don't. Then he looked at me one last time. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. Finally, he shook his head and walked toward the door. You two deserve each other's mess, he said. The door slammed behind him. Silence filled the apartment. The clock read 7:11 p.m. Nadia slowly turned toward me. Tears were forming in her eyes now. You let this happen? I stood up. No. My coat was still in my hand. You did? She grabbed my arm. Where are you going? I gently removed her hand. I walked to the door, then paused and looked back at her one last time. You wanted a special guest tonight, I said quietly. The door opened. I stepped outside and closed it softly behind me.